This video is on advice about breathing. There are two techniques for breathing that we want to practice. One is the sitting down technique, one is the standing up technique. Often called the horse position in martial arts. The heels are shoulder width apart, straight down. The feet point out in the same direction as the knees. This is also similar to a squat. But for the horse, we need to push the pelvis in and have that same technique. Pushing the pelvis in makes the back straight, elongating the spine. One of the things that need to be focused on is the raising up of the head and the elongating of the spine. Now, for the breathing starts with the exhale. When exhaling, suck the stomach in. Inhale, fill the stomach up. Keep that position in the horse. This is called breathing with the stomach. It's said to use the lower part of the lungs, which is not oftenly used when we're unconsciously breathing with our chest. The breaths are also elongated. They say the longer you can extend the breaths, the better. Also with the pauses in between. There are places to practice this breathing exercise at any of these intervals. Whether it's the exhale, pause, inhale, pause, and it's a meditation technique to count the seconds or count the intervals of time, how long you think it takes between each of those pauses, exhales or inhales. Remember, start with the exhale. That's one of the keys to this philosophy. One of the other techniques, that was the standing one in the horse position. The other technique is the lotus position. Now there's some variations you can do with the lotus. One of the easiest ways to get into the lotus would be straightening out the foot. It doesn't matter which side you start with, you want to practice both sides. Straightening out the foot, bringing it in as much as comfortable to you. You don't want to overly stretch your knees in the beginning. Point the toes of the other foot. And this one's already relaxed. By pointing the toes, it elongates the foot and the leg together, making sort of a straight plane that could lay on the ground. This one fits right into that crease. Now this is the easier version, and this pointed foot goes into the crease underneath the other leg. You can do it both sides. Once again, as soon as you get into this position, you can almost feel or try to elongate yourself with that same idea of elongating the spine. Elongate the spine. And it's one of the neat things about the lotus, other than the horse, is that by going into the lotus, almost automatically your hips are pushed in, which helps to elongate the spine. Straightening out the neck. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Now as you're practicing the breathing, you may want to know what to do with the hands or the arms. Oftentimes, just the palms up, either on the knees or palms up on the lap, resting on the legs. As always, practice both sides. Give yourself a few breaths on one side, elongate the other foot, go into the crease, and continue the breathing. I oftentimes focusing on keeping the hands straight, putting thumbs together, fingers straight. Now, for the more advanced lotus is going to be putting the foot on top of the thigh. So once again, it's straightening of the foot. We're going to put it on top of the thigh. I roll my hip over to put my pelvis into place. For the other foot, we're going to lift it on top of the calf, fitting into that crease again. This one, the foot is on the pinched side is facing up. This one is facing out. At more advanced levels, this foot would be on top of the thigh. Breathing. Exhale. Everything out first with the stomach. With the stomach. Bringing it out. So it's a combination of those two things. The breathing, in this case exhale, and the conscious effort of pulling the stomach in. And then for the exhale, or the inhale is going to be the breathing in and pushing of the stomach out. Inhale. The stomach goes out. Inhale, etc. Practice both sides of your lotus. For me, I practice as long until it starts to, it begins to hurt with the pushing of how far my abilities lie. It's going to hurt a little bit for me, but I gauge it. We want to have that threshold of pain. I'm also conscious of relaxing the tongue and not having it press up against the mouth. When meditating, it's good to bring the body into a neutral position with these exercises being practiced. It's an isolation of the exercise. By trying to relax the rest of the body and only put the focus into the stomach, it centralizes your efforts and allows you to achieve more flexibility, more breath control, whatever the case may be. This exercise is going to be really great for some of the Houdini tricks of staying underwater, because that's a true controlling of the breath, doing things like that. How long can you hold your breath underwater? So this breathing technique, by elongating those breaths, is going to allow you that ability. They also say, as an insight for the deep sea diving, is that they hyperventilate before they take that last breath. So if you want to practice holding your breath underwater, be careful about that, I might add, is you're going to hyperventilate. And what this does, hyperventilating, puts oxygen inside the blood to a point that it almost makes you pass out. But what that does is it allows you to cut it off and hold it for longer. By hyperventilating, you put the more oxygen in your blood, and then when you hold it, it allows you to achieve more of the extension on holding your breath. Just be careful about doing that, really. You want to practice it in a safe environment. If you're not sure if you can control it or not, practicing it on a bed would be best. Just so if anything bad does happen, and you pass out, then you know not to do it again. Maybe that's beyond your threshold of ability. So as always with any of these tricks, you need to practice what's in your threshold of ability and do the best you can. The one good thing about breathing is even if you can't do the extreme breathing, you can still practice good technique and use the lower part of that lungs. They say that's really healthy for the people, is to use the lower part of the lungs in addition to the upper part, which we use normally. All right, good luck.